Chapter 239, Dragon-imprisoned lightning palm. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Jiang Yuochen threw the dead body of the young Lord of Poisonous Spider out of the storage ring, dropping it on the ground. The young Lord of Poisonous Spider's body was wrapped in the icing cold. Obviously, Hu Minggong wanted to bring him back to his hometown and bury his body there. It was a pity that his dead body carried no value to Jiang Yuochen and thus he did not want to keep it in the storage ring. By killing young Lord of Poisonous Spider and Hu Minggong, Jiang Yuochen would surely receive a large number of merit points. With the extensive intelligence system of the Martial Market Bank, they could easily find out that they were killed by Jiang Yuochen. Therefore, Jiang Yuochen did not need to bring their bodies back to prove it. Judging by the greedy and selfish nature of the evil warriors in the black market, I'm sure both young Lord of Poisonous Spider and Hu Minggong didn't tell anyone about my power of manipulating the space. Now that they are dead, I don't need to worry about whether or not the news would be leaked out. Jiang Yuochen felt much more relieved as he did not want anyone to find out that space and time were his best-kept secret. As if sensing something ahead, Jiang Yuochen suddenly turned his head and looked up at the sky. He saw a red dot flying toward him. Rumbling sounds rang out in the sky above. As the sound became louder and louder, the air seemed to vibrate as well. The sound drew the attention of the Linen County town's citizens. They all rushed out of their houses and looked up at the sky. A massive red battleship over 70 feet could be seen flying from the north. It was made of pure iron and steel, making it truly look like the ship of gods. There were 9 arrays floating at the bottom of the battleship. The arrays kept rotating within themselves, forming chains of inscriptions. Red Spider Vessel. Just as I thought. Hu Minggong was really trying to buy some time while waiting for help. Luckily, I've killed him one step ahead. Otherwise, they would have me surrounded with no way out. Jiang Yuochen said with a gloomy expression on his face. It was too late to leave now. He knew that today's fierce battle was inevitable. If they were to fight in the Linen County, this small county would be razed to the ground under the power of the Red Spider Vessel, resulting in countless casualties. Without any hesitation, Jiang Yuochen unleashed the shadow of the Royal Wind Dragon. In a flash, he had already rushed out of the county and sped toward the ice river in the distance. The people on the battleship had already sensed the presence of Jiang Yuochen from earlier. At the same moment that he left the Linen County town, the Red Spider Vessel had also shifted direction to chase after Jiang Yuochen. The Red Spider Vessel that had reached the speed of sound soon caught up with him. Jiang Yuochen stopped running and stood next to the ice river, adjusting himself to an optimal state. He seemed exceptionally calm while the genuine chi in his body began to blend in with the spiritual chi between heaven and earth. The Red Spider Vessel almost looked like a huge monster floating above Jiang Yuochen's head in the void space. It was so massive that it shielded 1/3 of the sky, casting a huge shadow on the ground. On the deck of the Red Spider Vessel stood a purple-gowned elder who was chubby and had long grey eyebrows, who appeared to be full of vigor. Smiling faintly, he looked at Jiang Yuochen who stood underneath and said, "You are quite fast, kid. Are you an internal student of the School of the Martial Market?" Mu King had witnessed how Jiang Yuochen unleashed the shadow of the Royal Wind Dragon earlier from afar. He burst out with incredible speed, moving at 200 meters per second. A youngster who could reach such a high level of speed was surely the best of the best. Jiang Yuochen replied, "Why should I tell you?" The purple-gowned elder laughed coldly and said, "My name is Mu King, the principal of the Poisonous Spider Club in the southern border of the Square Commandery. I've received the signal from Hu Minggong seeking help and immediately rushed over." "Where is Hu Minggong now?" Jiang Yuochen answered, "Guess he's on the way to the netherworld." "You killed him?" Eyes wide, the purple-gowned elder stared down at Jiang Yuochen intensely as if his pupils were about to emit lightning. Jiang Yuochen said, "You're too late." Mu King was not as furious as Jiang Yuochen imagined him to be. Instead, he smiled and said, "Hu Minggong is too useless. How could he die at the hands of a youngster? He has ruined the great reputation that he had preserved through his entire life. But if he died, he died. Then, I could be the chief director of the Yunwu Commandery." In fact, Mu King's martial cultivation had reached the heaven realm, but he could only be one of the 8 principals of the Square Commandery. Not only did he need to obey the chief chairman of the Poisonous Spider Club, but he also had to take orders from the chief director of the square commandery. It was no wonder he felt resentful about not being promoted. Since Hu Mingong was dead now, Mu King would replace him and become the chief director of the Yunwu commandery as a matter of course. Although the Yunwu commandery was just an inferior commandery, it was always better than being subordinated to others. However, Mu King had to take revenge for Hu Mingong's death so as to prove that he was more powerful than Hu Mingong. That way, he would be highly regarded by the club. Mu King shifted his gaze to Zhang Yuochen again. He could not believe how a youngster like him could kill Hu Mingong, who had reached the cultivation of the heaven realm. He thought to himself, perhaps Hu Mingong was already seriously injured, giving this youngster here the advantage over him. Kid, I can't believe you dare to kill the chief director of the Poisonous Spider Club. Do you know what kind of price you will pay? Mu King said coldly. Zhang Yuochen asked, what kind of price? Not only you'll have to die, your family, too, will be perished. All the women in your family will be arrested. They'll become the goods of the Poisonous Spider Club and sell into slavery. Mu King replied. Zhang Yuochen chuckled. Is this how the Poisonous Spider Club threaten people? Threaten you? Ha ha. I guess I need to teach you a lesson so that you'll know how we work. Mu King leapt into the air and jumped off from the red spider vessel as if a massive black bird descending from the sky. Then, he slammed his palm down toward Zhang Yuochen. Sky-shaking palm. His palm was completely wrapped in the lightning. Boom! The palm strike caused rumbling sounds as loud as thunder to echo out and rang through dozens of miles. Although it was just a palm print, it exuded an explosively strong vigor. Zhang Yuochen did not expect that Mu King would jump off from the red spider vessel and initiate the attack. Obviously, Mu King did not think that a youngster like him should be taken seriously. He was full of confidence. Even if he did not borrow the power of the red spider vessel, he believed he could still kill Zhang Yuochen. In his opinion, it would be shameful to kill a youngster with the help of the red spider vessel. That would be killing chickens with choppers. One had to admit that Mu King was indeed very powerful. Although he was still in the initial stage of the heaven realm, he was even stronger than Hu Mingong, who had performed the forbidden art. Dragon in the sky. Zhang Yuochen leapt into the air and exploded upward with incredible speed. The spiritual fire genuine chi surged out from his body and wrapped around his palm. Then, he struck toward Mu King. Boom! The lightning palm and the firing palm clashed together. Zhang Yuochen fell to the ground hard and trod out a half-meter deep pit. There were still some faint lightning discharges flowing on his arms, and half of his sleeves were completely burnt to black. He shook his arms gently, and the burnt part of the sleeves instantly crumbled into powder. His sleeves were now torn and sooty. Zhang Yuochen narrowly lost the first round of the fight. It was understandable why he had lost the fight. The fact that his opponent had a cultivation of the heaven realm, and he was in his heyday, made it clear that the seriously injured Hu Mingong could never match up to his strength. Moreover, Zhang Yuochen could only take down Hu Mingong by surprise with the help of Space Crack. Although Hu Mingong had used the forbidden art and was powerful at that time, he was exhausted as well as too thrilled to think straight. Therefore, he could not clearly detect the subtle changes of the space. Hence it was easy for Zhang Yuochen to kill him. However, Mu King was now in his heyday and his spiritual power was very sensitive. It would not be as easy as before if Zhang Yuochen still wanted to use the Space Crack to plot against him. Since there were no guarantees of success, Zhang Yuochen did not want to use the power of space. Otherwise, not only could he not kill Mu King, but he would also reveal his secrets. After landing, Mu King stared at Zhang Yuochen in surprise. You're able to catch my sky-shaking palm. No wonder you can kill Hu Mingong. With your strength, I guess you're one of the top 10 internal students of the School of the Martial Market. If you want to fight, fight. Stop talking nonsense. Zhang Yuochen initiated an attack on Mu King. With the powerful surge of the genuine chi, the 40 inscription of power series carved on the Abyss Ancient Sword had been activated. The sword instantly became much heavier, reaching a weight of 4,000 kilograms. He unleashed the sacred guiding sword and slashed toward Mu King. Swish! At the same time, Mu King exploded forward at a speed of 300 meters per second. His body shifted a little to the side and easily dodged the attack. After he evaded Zhang Yuochen's full-force sword strike, he flicked a finger toward Zhang Yuocheng's left temple from the left side. His speed was way faster than Zhang Yuocheng, almost reaching the speed of sound. Perfect timing. As if he could predict Mu Qing's move, Zhang Yuocheng raised his sword horizontally and slashed toward Mu Qing's waist. If Mu Qing kept going forward, he could, of course, pierce through Zhang Yuocheng's temple and kill him with just a flick of his finger. But he would also be slashed apart by the Abyss Ancient Sword. He surely did not want to perish together with Zhang Yuocheng, therefore, he immediately stepped back and changed his movements again. Following that, Zhang Yuocheng had also changed his movement by unleashing the Sacred Sword skill, the perfection of martial arts. It successfully forced Mu Qing to retreat every time. Both of them had changed more than 10 moves in a short period of time, and yet none of the moves had actually reached each other. Every time Mu Qing made a move, Zhang Yuocheng had blocked it in advance. Kid, I can't believe you have practiced your sword technique to the perfection of martial arts. But no matter what, I'll destroy you. Retreating to 10 feet away, Mu Qing brought his hands together while strands of lightning pooled at his palms. They transformed into a human head-sized thunderbolt. Dragon-imprisoned lightning palm. Once a warrior of the poisonous spider club reached the heaven realm, he could choose to practice a mid-class martial technique of the spiritual stage, and Mu Qing had chosen the dragon-imprisoned lightning palm. Similarly, for an ordinary evil warriors, he could only receive the mid-class martial technique of the spiritual stage when he reached the heaven realm. As for those who contributed greatly to the black market, they would then receive the second type of mid-class martial technique of the spiritual stage. Even the royal family of the Yunwu commandery had only possessed one type of mid-class martial technique of the spiritual stage as their best technique. It showed how precious the technique was. In the school of the martial market, if one wanted to learn the martial technique above the spiritual stage, they would have to spend a large number of merit points in exchange for the technique. Moreover, they could only practice it on their own without teaching anybody else. Not every warrior had studied through countless exercises of the superior level and martial technique like Zhang Yuocheng did. Other warriors were incomparable to what Zhang Yuocheng had done. Mu Qing had originally obtained the sacred mark with a thunder nature that the genuine Qi he practiced also carried such nature. This was exactly why he was stronger than Hu Minggong in the same realm. The genuine Qi of Hu Minggong did not carry any nature of power. Mu Qing unleashed a palm strike. As if there was a dragon howling ferociously, the thunderbolt broke out a loud roar and transformed into a wisp of dragon shadow lightning. 9 folds of the elephant power. Zhang Yuocheng launched 6 palm strikes in a row. The power of 6 palm strikes was pooled together to form a single palm print, and thus 6 times the attack power burst out from it.